Hey everyone, Mark, Director of Product Management here at Clari.
And I'm Jess. I run operations for our customer success team at Clari.
We get a lot of questions about how things should work, what's good, what's not, and one of the questions that we get a lot is around slippage and conversion rates, especially when it comes to your commit. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you see, how customers think about slippage, and maybe like what a good conversion rate or slippage number would be?
Sure. I would say one thing that is 100% true is that every customer who I've ever worked with, they always slip deals. It's just
But
the
they don't think they
reality.
do,
They
right?
don't think they do, but they always slip deals, and nobody has 100% conversion rates for committed deals. It doesn't happen. So that's, I don't know, one thing to keep in mind. But I do think the best teams that we've seen, they typically convert around 80% of the deals that they have in commit.
And we do see some teams that will convert as little as like 60%, which obviously is on the lower end, right? So what would you tell someone who's trying to think about slippage and conversion rates today? How would they go and find that number? Where would they start?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to start getting visibility into what you've slipped, and not just what you slipped, but also when you slipped the deals. So if you have a committed deal at the beginning of the quarter and that slips out, 30 days into the quarter, not that big of a deal. But if you have a committed deal that's committed at like day 60 of the quarter or day 75 with only a few weeks to go, and you're really counting on that deal coming in, and then you have really high slip rates, then that's a problem.
Right. And it's also I think we see a lot of customers try to track. I think I've heard the term tumbleweed deals, right? So deals that slip from quarter to quarter, and I think it's fair to say it's important to make sure you have a tool that allows you to go back to the last quarter or last week of the quarter, figure out which deals were in commit there and where they stand, because supposedly those deals should now be closed if they were in commit on the last week, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you want to see if there's certain behavior that's happening with certain teams or with certain reps, and if it's happening quarter over quarter over quarter.
Yeah. And so last question here is, do you think it's more important to have high conversion rates on your commit or low slippage or consistent conversion rates?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the thing about consistency is it leads to predictability, which is always a good thing, especially if you're trying to forecast accurately. And if if the reality is you're going to slip deals, then it's just important to have like your backup plan and have your inventory of deals that you can pull from. So if you do slip a deal, okay, I have this other inventory that I can pull from, and I can still hit my number, and I have a game plan.
Yeah. Okay. So in conclusion, everyone slips deals. That's the reality of it, right? That's how sales works. And the best numbers that we see out there are 15% slippage of commit. We do see some numbers as high as 40%, which obviously indicates that the team has to work on that.
When deals slip is important.
When deals slip is important, and of course, everyone wants to convert 80% of their commit, but the reality is that doesn't happen, and so it's really important to be consistent, because consistency leads to predictability, right? Cool.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Jess.
Cool.
Thank you
everyone.
for listening. Yeah, and definitely drop a comment and let us know if there's any other topics that you'd like us to cover.